What's up, everybody? Just good morning. It's quite early here in the crop, so I know it's early for those of you in the west. Just shout out to the African Superstar family, and thank you for joining me again. I want to talk about this topic. As you can tell, I'm right on my desk. And this was my first thought today. Yesterday, I delivered a live stream, where I talked about black men. Are they aware of danger? Do they care? Are they compelled to action? Well, today I want to talk about it's obvious why black women are leaving. This is just another reason that black women are leaving because I actually received a long message in the previous video. One of our viewers who said that she has left with her two children, she left America and has moved to the continent. And, the father of her children thinks that she's completely absurd. Her family wasn't supportive to move. But obviously, that's a decision that she as a mother made. And it prompted this topic, okay? It prompted this topic because, you see, it's been ongoing in the U.S. so long, the abuse on black people. What you're seeing right now is like the emerging revolutionary black woman. That's like, yo, we can't keep putting up with this guy. We can't keep dealing with this. Let's entertain our options, all right? And then you have the complacent black male that's like, oh, calm down, let's take it easy, this and that. And to me, it's very, very obvious why black women, I mean, in addition to them being disrespected and not, treated well and all those things, they're looking for leaders of the community. They're looking for people that will be always. I said yesterday, men communicate best with men. And we see that the women are the ones that are bold, the women are the ones that are proactive, the women are the ones that are stepping up and willing to get out here. I mean, even within the Pan African space, you're seeing it dominated by women that are saying, hey, you have Julietta Black, you have traveling sister out there in Tanzania, you had Afro America in Africa, in Namibia. You had a lot of women. You have me. Um, you see them promoting the content. You see them getting ready to get up and go and put it behind. And then you have men in the West that are still making excuses for the way that they're being treated. I mean, to me, it's obvious, you know. And realistically, when you are under attack, and that's exactly how I see it. That is exactly how I see it. You want to get out of harm's way, especially when you count up the cost and you realize I can't really impact the system in any kind of meaningful way. Okay, there's nothing that you as an individual can do to impact police brutality. Okay, the vehicle that people in the West have been given is not beneficial. It's more like an expression of speech. When you go out and you protest, um, you know, you're just demonstrating that you're frustrated with a certain cause or you want to be vocal about a certain cause. The way to really impact a certain, cause, for instance, is through the legislation, through financial impact and things like that, which the protests are not prohibited. Maybe at a certain day and age, protests were effective because, there wasn't online and basically if you protested in front of a building, you would frustrate people. You would cause them inconvenience. You would block traffic. You would do something that would call to action. But right now in 2021, protests are seen and not really heard. And so therefore, what I'm saying is, when you come to the realization, okay, I'm being victimized. Perhaps my children are in position to be victimized. This is another reason that black women are willing to make the move, even though men and unfortunately, there are a lot of brothers in the West that are not holding up their end of the deal when it comes to parenting. Why would they feel motivated to protect their kids? Because they're not even active in their children's lives. A mother's love is going to be like, hey, my kids are in danger, and I need to do what I need to do to make them be in a better environment. I know uh, a friend that's here also on the continent, Dr. Malaya. She came with several of her children, five of her children. And she had to make provisions to do that. But literally, a mother is going to look at her kids, especially her male children, and feel the imminent danger every single time these incidents happen. And it's just no secret. We are really experiencing the absence of the black male leader in the West. You know, um, it gets echoed through so many diasporan women as to the masculinity that they experience here on the continent. And that is what we're looking for, in so many ways. Men that will stand to defend, men that will, uh, take their place in the ecosystem, because I don't understand how women are more frustrated about this than black men when they are the most affected person by this whole thing. And a big problem of our people is we want to keep making excuses for our enemies. We want to keep justifying their rage on us and their violence on us. And I just want to remind you guys, just in case you don't know, your life is a very precious commodity. When someone takes your life, you can't get it back. When you're no longer cease to exist, nobody can hear your voice, your thoughts, your synopsis, or anything. Even if the situation is not how it looks, you don't have an opportunity to speak for yourself once you're gone. You should protect your life with everything you have. And that also includes environment. Why my people are so cavalier about living in a dangerous environment, won't even entertain, won't even put themselves in position to be in safety. And even when these people are parents and they have the responsibility of protecting young people that can't really fend for themselves, don't have the resources to fend for themselves or a life experience, what is wrong with y'all? You know, I have to once again appeal to our men to look at yourself, to look at yourself. You know, you have gotten so disconnected from who you are supposed to be and the function that you're supposed to play. You see, and the reason it's easy for them to eliminate black men is because they know there's no cohesion. They know there's no clapback. They know there's no reaction. I shouldn't be out here telling black men about this and about that. You should be out here telling your brothers about this and that. You see, you want to analyze black social movements in the past, they were always led by black men because black men communicate better with other black men. The fact that you won't step up and you won't organize, you won't even protect your own family. You're just as complicit in anything that happens to them. So don't be boohooing and crying when your son, nephew, brother, schoolmate, whoever gets caught up in this system when you're not even making an attempt to do something. What exactly is so grandiose of relocating to a safe zone? Can someone explain it to me? Like, why are you guys so addicted to a dangerous environment? You know, and why do you take your life so casually? Let me break down this police brutality. Okay, this police brutality, it is an issue of machismo. All right. Like I talked about briefly yesterday, black men are innately superior. When it comes to nature, when it comes to stature, when it comes to masculinity, height, everything. They are the man's man. And what happens is men that are inferior obviously feel insecure. Okay? okay, when they meet a man, and a lot of you guys that maybe have had these exchanges at like at the gym or at the bar, and it's kind of like, okay, this guy who is maybe shorter than you, or maybe you're really muscular and he's smaller than you. You know, he's basically trying to provoke you. He's trying to, you know, assert his masculinity because he feels threatened, because he feels inferior, right? Black men are innately men, men's men, the first men. And so what happens in these police brutality situations is these inferior men feel some kind of way about y'all. Even young boys, even teenagers, they are threatened by. And they use their authority to enact the deep hate that they have for you. And they use the law to justify it. And there's, you know, if that person is in that mind frame when you encounter them, there's nothing you can do to neutralize the situation. Shout out to the African Superstar family. I know I got a couple of y'all in here today. Um, I went to the University of Cincinnati, okay, in Ohio, and I remember that the racial climate was very intense there compared to my hometown of Columbus. Um, what I want to talk about right now is the difference in policing when white officers interact with black males as opposed to anybody else. You know, when they come to the scene, they're already hyped, they're already aggressive, they're already in that elevated state. You know, even if you are calm and trying to, you know, converse with them and trying to comply, in their mind, they're already in fight mode. You are powerless to tone that situation down because, you know, you're not the one escalating a lot of times. Now, there are brothers who are very crazy, who will even go on to escalate the intense situation, and it usually results in them losing their life. You know, the fact of the matter is, you know, this is a question that I had to ask myself, even as a black woman. You see, I've never been in a police brutality situation, but I've always been in contentious situations with white females because it's the same dynamic. Okay, it's the same dynamic. Superiority, inferiority, period. Okay, the inferior person always feels some kind of way about the superior person, even when the superior person is not flexing. When the superior person is not even exercising their power, they feel your power. And because they are inferior and because they are insecure, they are always thinking, well, if I was in their position, this is what I would do with that power, that capability. And they're projecting it on you. So there's a perceived threat that doesn't even exist. So when I started experiencing that, and my experience was always in the workplace. You know, they felt some kind of way because I was intelligent. They felt some kind of way because I wouldn't engage them, you know, outside of work and in my personal life. I want to keep things professional. You know, they took that personal because I wasn't interested in them. I didn't admonish them. I didn't see them as anything, you know, special. They had a problem with that. When I realized I'm powerless to the perception that these people have over me, but in these settings, they are in positions of authority in my life, which means they affect my livelihood. They affect my well-being. They affect my productivity and upper mobility because they can choose to be ethical or not. Guys, when you think about the imminent danger that you're in, it's not even really about you. Okay? It's about probability. Okay? It's not about necessarily your reaction to them. It's about their approach and mentality to you. And this is why it's important for us to evacuate that environment. That is why. Because as long as you are consumed in that environment and swallowed in that environment, you very well can become a casualty of that environment. And this is the fact that, you know, I don't understand what black men. I mean, they see the sheer, you know, rage being inflicted on, you know, their peers, and they're not even compelled to do anything. You know, the reality is you should be gathering your men. Even like I said, if it's not a visible movement and it doesn't need to be actually for it to be successful, it shouldn't be, okay? But you should be pulling your brothers aside and you guys should be having some kind of mode of action. Because whatever has been provided to us in the past is flawed. It's not working. It's not working. And it's just as serious. And these people are becoming more blatant, more violent, more intrusive. There's videos coming out. The young man was walking in his neighborhood getting harassed by cops, getting harassed by a military man who just lives in the neighborhood. And see, that's another thing. They feel that they have jurisdiction over you. They feel like you should obey them. And if you don't, it's a problem. They feel like you always need instruction. And so, with all these dynamics going on, it's no secret why Black women are leaving. It's no secret why. It's no secret why. In essence, there are definitely lots of, men's, but like we've already talked about, they are already in relationships. The single ones, they want the accolades of being a man without exercising masculinity. And when I look at how the Black men are continually being abused in America, and I'm looking for their reaction to it, or their mode of action, and I'm thinking, you cannot negate the campaign to destroy you. You can't. If it's not police brutality, it's the feminization of Black men. If it's not that, it's the derogatory images of them in the media. Okay, the connotations and all that stuff. The poverty, the lack of family. The dynamics are just basically making the whole environment so hostile for y'all to live. So then your options are either sell out or turn into a homeless or go to jail. And these avenues are not even acceptable. I feel that our men are so capable of so much more. I don't know why they're bowing down to this situation. Where they have an opportunity to come and make their footprint over here on the continent as it stands currently. And the same way I feel like I'm a real woman because I'm not going to be subjected to, the ill treatment of a certain environment. I don't care. I'll go somewhere else. And we have people that are living dysfunctional lives with dysfunctional families. And it's been occurring over and over and over again, but they won't even entertain the concept of something new, something different, something better. They won't even try it. They're just resolute in this struggle life, man. And I know this message is not for everybody because there are obviously people that they want to do the struggle life. They want to do it. They've seen a potential option and they have all these in the book. But really, guys, I have to appeal to you. I have to appeal to you. If you recognize the environment that you're in, make it an imperative goal to exit that environment. There is no other way. There is no other way. You will become a casualty to that environment, one way or another. You have so many things aimed at your head, and you can't function at 100% all the time. There will be days where you're not 100%, and that will provide the vulnerability that could just be the end for you. Trust me. Chemically modified food, racism, systematic racism, police brutality, huh? Black on black crime. You even got people in your own community that are dangerous. There's so many things that you encounter on a daily basis in the Western environment that have become a norm for you that are not a norm. And all it does is heighten your probability of being involved in some nonsense. And I'm telling you guys, your life is the most precious commodity. Second to that is time. Two things that money can't buy you, two things that cannot be retrieved in any situation. You have got to function as if you understand that, as if you know what I'm saying. If you love your life, if you value your life, you will make sure that you protect it. You will not deliberately put yourself in harm's way. Living in the West as a black person is harm's way. Being a black male in the West is double harm's way because you are the target and focal point of everything that they specialize around. And I told you already, look at how the community is functioning. Take accountability. It has gotten to that point because men don't want to step up. Women can be as assertive as they want to be, but we are not men. Okay? We have a certain realm of influence that cannot supersede your own. And you guys are sitting back and letting us spearhead the movement, and it's ridiculous. You know, I would personally be offended, if I was a black American man and women kept talking like this about me and my guys. But I mean, I guess there's a lot of truth to it. Because again, I don't understand. I don't understand why there's not more males out in the state, promoting their brothers of the way forward. I don't understand it. I mean, aren't y'all sick of RIP, your homies? If they're not getting involved in police brutality, they're getting involved in, violence from their brothers. You know, the toxic environment in the West is feeding that as well. Because the frustration that black males feel, they're too scared to lash out on the white man. Dr. Henry Clark talks about this. They want to try to appear, as men and masculine. So, they lash out on their brothers, they lash out on their females and their kids. But the actual perpetrator, they're too scared to lash out on them. So in essence, we are just eliminating ourselves. And there comes a point in a leader's life, in a progressive person's life, that they understand that the decisions that they are making today are shaping the world for tomorrow. And they take a look around about the dynamics in their life. Shout out to Mr. Hill. I received a DM from Mr. Hill the other day on Facebook, and he was explaining to me, that he came to my platform since 2019, and he has understood that, the environment in America is toxic, and he is making the decision for him and his children because he wants something different. He's experienced so much stuff, and he said his dad has experienced so much stuff, and his grandfather has experienced so much stuff. There's a point in your life where you step up as an individual and say, this will not repeat, not this generation. It won't, because I'm going to make the necessary decisions to change this dynamic. The blacks in the West are on a path to self-destruct. They have been socialized and influenced by Western culture, and they are far removed from their roots. Those of us that get it, those of us that see it, it's imperative for us to enact on that. And we need to remove ourselves. In the words of Kevin Samuel, high value men, high value women will not allow themselves to be exterminated by visible and obvious and blatant campaigns aimed against their people. They're going to have to be more creative to be able to capture the high value man and the high value woman. Because, see, we're intelligent enough to recognize what the hell they're doing. They want to take your life for any trivial reason, and then paint you as the culprit. You know, every last hashtag that has emerged because of, for instance, police brutality, they are summed up as a hashtag. That's how people got to know their name. Not the years they spent in school, not the family life they led, not being associated with the church, not, whatever accomplishments that they had achieved in their life, they became a hashtag. And that was it. Are you going to let them sum up your life as a hashtag? I said, hell no. I will absolutely become a casualty in this setting. I will absolutely become a casualty because they hate me. They hate people like me, and they hate people like you that are not willing, to acquiesce to what they want to do. This is very serious, guys. I mean, this is just serious. Please take it seriously. Take it seriously because I can even go as far as to say I wouldn't be surprised if some of these recent hashtags if they even see my video, if they see my videos or Dinah's videos or Walter Maya's videos or Juliet. I'm pretty sure. And they procrastinated for one reason or another. They thought they had more time, and then they became the next one. And see, it's all fun and games until you're the next hashtag. It's all fun and games until they start harassing you or targeting you. And God, who's going to protect you from the police? Who's going? Who do you call when the police are harassing you? You think about that? You know, I encourage you guys to regularly think about that. Think about it. Think about becoming a victim. Think about being a casualty. Think about the scenarios that you have heard of, the situation, what it feels like. Yesterday I talked about the situation about the man who was unconscious that went to the emergency room and ended up dead. Let's talk about Breonna Taylor. Huh? She was just in her bed sleep. She's a nurse. She just died in her sleep. She didn't even know. Or maybe if she woke up, for her last few minutes after she's been shot. If any one of us was in her shoes at the same place and same time, we would have the hashtag not her. And when you realize, you see, you can't sit in water and not be wet. Some of you guys want to be in the Western environment because you feel like you're safe and you feel like you don't engage in certain activities. It can come to your door even when you're just sleeping. What about the guy who was down in Texas? His name escapes me right now. Who was in his house eating ice cream when the police officer went into the wrong apartment and shot him up. So, in other words, you're not even safe in your own home. Minding your own business, you're not safe in your own situation. That's how dangerous that environment is. And it's very, very serious, guys. It's very, very serious. I really, really encourage you to recognize the severity of the place that you are living. And if you are smart, you will take action today. You will start making your plan. You will start making your moves. You will refuse that it's not going to be you. You're not going to be the casualty because you're not going to be there. And you can make all the excuses for Gina. I have kids, and Gina, I don't have money, and Gina, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I told you guys before, where there's a will, there is a way. When the runaway slaves left the plantation, they had no idea where they were going, what was going to happen. They knew all the risks. I'm pretty sure, the slave masters any runaways that got caught. I'm pretty sure they made an example of any runaway that got caught. So they knew, okay, hey, the biggest penalty I can pay is death. However, it's a 50-50 shot. The other, I can also get the sweetest gift of freedom or death, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll the dice. I'm putting everything on the table. It's got to be better than how I'm living right now. That's what it is. That's what it is. You guys are waiting for tanks to roll up on your lawn and for it to really look like a visible war zone before you get ready to do something. Okay, some of you guys that watch me, I know you're down south in America. Okay, Mississippi, Louisiana, uh, you know, uh, Atlanta, Texas, you know, my geography. Woo, I've been out to say for a minute. Now, y'all have some severe weather down there in some of them states. Okay, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes. One thing that's so annoying is um, you see, maybe the local neighborhood saying, hey, there's a tornado coming. All right. You guys need to evacuate. There's been a lot of tornado activity. There's a hurricane coming. Okay. There's a big storm or whatever coming, right? And they tell the people you need to evacuate. The people say, nah, I'm just going to ride out the storm. Huh? I'm not leaving my house. The people down south, they are notorious. I've seen it. I'm not going to evacuate. I'm going to stay here on my property. Okay, then the storm comes, and what are they doing? Needing to be rescued. Therefore, endangering the emergency services to come in, save them from the flood, come in, look under the rubble of the tornado for them, come to, rescue them from the roof because the hurricane came and they didn't think it was serious. You guys need to pay attention to the warning signals that are there, okay? And be real. The reality is it's not getting better in the West. The reality is Africa is the future. I'm saying if you were, I give you a pass. If you're like 95 and you are, crippled in a wheelchair and you don't have any family and, you just, the end is near for you, maybe. Some of you guys, 30 something, 40 something, 50 something, 60 something, listen, you're still in good health. You're still upright. You're still in your sound mind. You can gather some resources. You have some resources. Come on, man. Why are you making excuses? It's no different than the warning that goes out and the people that don't heed it, and then you need rescuing. You need rescuing. And we see how they're manipulating the borders and stuff like that with this COVID. They're requiring all kind of additional stuff to travel. They're making it really tedious. They're making it very expensive. You guys need to take, I'm telling you, you need to listen, okay? Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. Well, African superstar, you were right. I didn't. Because the warning is right here, right now. Oh, African superstar, I'm really sorry because, my friend, my brother, my cousin, my uncle, my daughter, my son, my mom, my wife, they became a victim of the hashtag. I really should listen to you when living out there, guys, you're playing Russian roulette. You're playing Russian roulette. As a black person, you're playing Russian roulette. You can become the next hashtag at any time. Stop acting like it doesn't apply to you, please. It has affected every facet of black people from the very top, from professionals, you know, all the way down to the hood dude outside the corner store. Okay? Nobody is exempt. They don't ask any questions about your educational background or where you live or where you work. They even profile. I remember they profiled the district attorney in Florida.
And it was only because she showed her state ID that they backed up off of her. So I was so compelled to bring this message to you today, because, you know, I have to do my due diligence to communicate these messages. I've been so very angry these past 2 days. I mean, I've been reverted back to the way I felt when I was there, so helpless and just like, wow, I will never forget. Um, you know, right before I moved to the university, when I left Columbus and I went back to when I went to Cincinnati for university, I moved September 13th of 2001, okay, to go to the University of Cincinnati. So, it was like a calamity at that time. The World Trade Center had just happened on September 11th. And in Cincinnati, there had been race riots because there was a 17-year-old boy who had been shot in the back by police. Okay. And so the city had been rioting, and they were burning stuff, and the same stuff they'd be doing nowadays. Now that was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago. 20 years. So my point is, you know, things are not changing in the West. And I don't care how much you exert yourself into it. You think that you can do something individually. This also goes out to my African migrants. You think that you can accomplish something individually. You better think about the big picture. You're sacrificing maybe your children. You're sacrificing your future, no generational wealth. I mean, millions of Black people have lived and died in the West, and there's nothing to even show they exist besides a headstone. Nothing but sand. Their whole life, just nothing. Because that's the environment. It's just very consuming, like I told you. You know, you've got to think with a bigger spectrum, guys. We are the gatekeepers right now. It's in our lap to make the decisions. It's in our lap to impact. And I know it's scary, and I know we don't know, but I mean, honestly, guys, we've got to stop dropping the ball. This is ridiculous. you know. And brothers that watch me, I know a lot of you guys are good guys, family guys, and stuff like that. But listen, you need to be taking your brothers under your wing, especially if you have a Pan-African mindset. You need to be taking your brothers under your wing and giving them something to work towards. Because there's a lot of our people, they just don't have any direction. They're tired of that environment. I'm talking about the progressive Blacks. They're tired of that environment. They know it's not going to change, and they need vehicles to get out. Please encourage them well. You don't got to come out here on YouTube. Okay. It's actually dangerous for you to be out here on YouTube, especially if you're in the West. I encourage my audience not to be vocal, not to be visible, but be effective. Maybe you meet with the brothers in your family privately. Okay, you don't post a meeting on Facebook. If you text them, you guys create like a little code. Okay, if I type 33, that means yes. If I type 333, that means, let's go to the meeting spot. Listen, get off the grid. Because obviously we know the world we are a part of, social media, CCTV, GPS monitoring. They're always listening. They're always watching. Be creative, because that's the only way we're going to be effective to get out this matrix at this point. Okay. But the men of this platform, if nobody else, take your brothers aside and begin to pour into them. They're going to listen to you more than they will listen to a woman. And women, don't feel no kind of way because the men ain't listening to you. They never do. That's not how they're designed. Men listen to men. Men grow men. It's nature. Okay, it's not our role. We have a very, very important role in this ecosystem, but dominating men is not our role. So Don't feel no type of way when you're not effective doing that, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing other things. Go master those other things, you know. But honestly, brothers, you need to be taking these brothers under your wing. You go to the barber shop. You guys get together and watch football games. It's time to stop shooting the crap and talk about something meaningful. Organize yourself. Screen the people that are coming alongside you. Don't just let any person get involved in your secret society, know what you're doing and all that stuff. Be very, very secretive about it until you execute it. That's what it is. If you guys are coming here to Africa, be strategic and then execute. So many of us that are here have given you guys the same advice. I didn't broadcast what I was doing because I didn't want any additional obstacles. I dealt with a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I took it in stride and I relocated to the continent. And now I'm free. Now I talk free and now I do what I want to do. You guys, we need you to step up. We need you to step up. If we want our people to exist, we are the gatekeepers of their preservation. If we're not doing a good job, then we will become extinct. And that's just that. What's up, African Superstar family? Yeah, I be having a lot to say these mornings. I be having a lot to say. What's up, Afro Millennial Mama? Big shout out to Michelle Marsh. What's up, Eric G? I hope the sound is better now. I just saw that your sound quality. What's up, Samson? Lorney? What's up? What's up? Blockavelli? Yeah, exactly. It's time for the brothers to, to take their brothers in stride. Like I told you, the social movements have all been manned by men. I can only imagine, during the 60s, how empowered the men were by Malcolm X. I mean, he was surrounded by, thousands of Black men. Same with Dr. Martin Luther King. Same with Huey P. Newton. They were able to collectively bring our guys. But see, nowadays in 2021, a mass movement like that is not likely, nor is it safe. Okay, we need to, find different vehicles to be effective, and we need to go the covert version. All right, using social media, let those of us that's visible be visible, and let the majority of the community not be visible so that they can implement what they need to. But I'm telling you, if brothers in local communities was getting together with 4 or 5 of their brothers or 10 of their brothers, or if you guys are truckers, all you guys get together and say, hey, look, 5 of us, we all going to send trucks over to, the continent. We going to set up our business over there. We going to relocate our families. I mean, that will have a big impact. The ones that are going to stay in the West, the ones that are very, stubborn, they're going to self-destruct and let them do it. But I'm talking to those of you that are the remnant. I'm talking to those of you that understand what I'm saying today. We are leaving for many, many reasons, but preservation is one of them. We see that the state of our community in the West is crazy. And the reality is you will probably become, in some way, shape, or form, a casualty to that environment, because there's so much stuff aimed at you. You can't avoid everything all the time. You can't. The older we get, the more probabilities that we will be in certain places doing certain things. It heightens your chance. You can't just go through life without having some ups and downs. So be proactive. The writing's on the wall. So big shout outs to the African Superstar family. Thank you, those of you that watch me. Again, I know it's really early out there because it's early here. It's like 10 a.m. here. So I know that it is early out there. My West Coast folks, y'all night owls and all that stuff. Thank you for coming and seeing me. But most importantly, I hope that you heard this message, and I hope that you take it into strong. Our Black men really need to evaluate their role and how they want to be remembered, and how to preserve their communities and their family, at least at the bare minimum, your kids. Because if you don't, they're just matriculating in that system, which means they're facing all the same things that you're facing plus more, because as the new generations come in, more and more challenges also come with it. So do what you can. Do what you can to change the dynamics. If you don't have any impact, fine, but at least you die trying. What's the saying? Get rich or die trying. I was telling a friend of mine a couple of days ago, a friend of mine who loves music, he let me hear some of his tracks, and I'm like, wow, this music is amazing. You should publish this music. And he's giving me all this, yeah, but this, but that. And I'm like, there's artists out there. I remember, y'all know I love Master P, right? So Master P said he knew that he wasn't the best rapper. Okay, Master P said, I know I'm not the best rapper. Okay, especially when he was coming out, there was like Wu-Tang Clan, and there was Tupac, and there was Biggie, and there was Busta Rhymes, so there was like a lot of, big MCs and a lot of very popular rappers from West and the East Coast, and he was coming from down South. Okay, so he admitted, he said, I'm not the best rapper, but I decided I'm going to do something that nobody else is doing. We're going to drop music every single week. We're going to focus on marketing. So they had the No Limit Soldiers, they had the No Limit Tank. They did very good with marketing. They had a certain style of their records, you know what I'm saying? And basically he put in the hard work. I watched a documentary about No Limit Records, and they had people from different, Rap A Lot Records and Death Row and Rockefeller, and they were basically talking about, it got to the point, Master P was dropping music every Friday in the 90s. Okay. And so other people would move their release dates because they knew that No Limit was about to release on Fridays. So they didn't want the competition because they knew that, you know what I'm saying, they would take over the market. You see, so what I'm saying is, what you lack in ability, make up with effort. You don't gotta be the best at this or that, but you can be diligent. Here my friend is a very talented artist, that is getting outshined by artists that are half of his caliber. Why? Because artists that half of his caliber got the heart to do it. They got the heart, they got the diligence, they got the ambition. They're willing to take time. I mean, people like Soldier Boy. When Soldier Boy came out, everybody was like, oh, this guy's a fat. Soldier Boy put himself on the map. And now people, that style of rap is now the standard style of rap. So don't be discouraged by your inefficiencies, but learn how to deposit yourself in your life, and you will become successful. You want to get here to the continent, just compel yourself to figure out how to do it. A lot of you, because there are so many of us here and there's social media, use it to your benefit. It's meant to be a resource. Okay, we don't just get out here to hear ourselves talk over and over again about the same stuff. For God's sake, they shut down my channel. I lost my job. I just don't come out here just because I feel like, oh yeah, YouTube. No. I'm using it as a vehicle to communicate with y'all, but it's only as beneficial as you guys taking it in and, implementing it. I love to hear from y'all. Gina, I'm coming to Africa. You really inspire me. You help me. Thanks for, the tour guide. Thanks for this video. Thanks for that. That's because it makes me feel that what I'm doing is meaningful. You know, I'm satisfied helping, 5 people. I'm cool. I believe I've had a larger impact than 5, but I'm happy with the 5 that I've done. Because then the 5 can go on and impact 5 more and blah, blah, blah. That's where it all starts. But you just got to have the tenacity to start. Some of you guys have even more than me. You have property, you have income, you have families, you have inheritance, you have trust funds, you have dividends. You're a veteran. You got stuff that can help you create your life here, and you're just making excuses about why. But if you want to make excuses about why, make sure you know what's at stake. Make sure you know, and make sure you're cool with that. Okay, make sure you're cool with that. Because, think about it. If you were the next hashtag, it's kind of a rhetorical question. If you were the next hashtag, how would you feel? Well, if you're the next hashtag, you're dead. And I'm pretty sure every last person I have watching me right now has plans for tomorrow. And we can't escape death, but let us live a natural life and have a natural death. Not some other man deciding to preside over our lives and take our lives because of whatever reason they're going to use to justify it. Protect yourself from those kind of situations. It's an irrefutable fact that countries here on the continent are safer than the West, period. And any of you that are African travelers know it. So why are you living in places where bullets are flying every day, where you get pulled over by the cops and it could be over? Think about it. That's today's assignment. Think about how you feel if the next hashtag was you or a family member or a close friend. Some of you guys might even know some of these hashtags that have already happened. What would that be like for you? And also, how would you feel knowing that you had an alternative to get out of that environment, but you didn't take it? It's kind of like the people that escape plane crashes. They were late to the airport. They forgot this, that. They got to the airport. They didn't have their passport. And at first they was mad, but then when the plane crashed, they was like, "Woo! Thank God it wasn't me." This is the same thing. Whenever I see those hashtags, I feel some kind of way. But I tell y'all what, I won't ever be that kind of hashtag. My hashtag is hashtag African Superstar. It represents many, many honorable things, I must say. I love dropping my hashtag on some of y'all's videos. I love dropping my hashtag in people's chat rooms to let them know I'm there. When they see my hashtag, they don't think police brutality. I made a strategic choice that my name is never going to be a police brutality hashtag. You can make the same choice. It just requires SMP, our mission statement: strategy, maturity, and patience. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Thank you for listening to me today. Please make sure you share this video with your friends. We want to get the word out. Also, big shout outs to Mr. SDMC. He submitted his Our Superstar video today. So that is up. We have 4 submissions. Currently, Eternal Blossom is the reigning champ so far. She's got over 200 and some views on her video. The rest of you guys that are preparing videos, please make sure you get those to me. Instagram, Facebook, email, or WhatsApp if you have my WhatsApp number, and I'll get those on the channel. You can then share your video. And if you want to see all the Our hashtag videos, all you have to do is put the hashtag in the search box in YouTube, and those videos will pop up for you to view. Also, big shout outs to those of you that have already participated in the challenge. I have loved watching these videos. They are amazing. Mr. SDMC, very creative video. Obviously, I loved hearing from Portia Official. And, both Eternal Blossom and Dark Spear had actual clips of me relative to them. Eternal Blossom when she was here in Ghana. She has pictures with me. Obviously, I was with her on the night she got engaged, so that was quite amazing. And then Dark Spirit organized his cousin Tunde to meet me at the airport and transport me to meet Dynasty Mir in Nigeria. So big shout outs to the African Superstar family. I love you guys. These videos are amazing. Keep them coming in. We have a big family, so I reckon we should get lots of submissions to the challenge. And obviously, you guys know there is a cash prize of $100 as well as an African Superstar backpack of your choice. That's the cash prize on my birthday, which is June 26th. Okay. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.